Connecting.
Next up, we've got the new mining ships. A new line of 3 destroyers and a new Venture version. We've got the Venture Consortium issue. We've got this, the Pioneer, which is the T1 destroyer. There's a Consortium issue of the Pioneer. And then there's the Outrider, which is the Tech 2 version. So I've got one here. Let's have a quick look. So the Outrider's Command Destroyer version. This version is the standard T1. Gets bonuses to mining range per level, bonuses to mining yield per level, and a reduction in gas cloud scope duration. And then as a roll bonus, it gets a big big increase, in mining yields, and a further big reduction in gas cloud scoop duration. I've thrown a fit together on this, and it is kind of a thrown together fit. This probably won't match what most people end up using, certainly price wise it probably isn't close to what people are using, because I've fitted 3 ore miners to it. Most people in the high sec would pick minor 1s, minor 2s, meta variations. We've got prop mods. We've got our mining survey chipset. So these used to be mining scanners, your survey scanners. These have been changed. What these now do is give you extra information to the new ship's new built-in survey scanner. Every ship has a built-in survey scanner now, and what this does now is gives you extra information about that result. I've got 2 mining laser upgrades, but to do that with a medium shield extender, I have had to put an overclocking rig in. Shield Enforcer and a core defense field purger to give us some active recharge. We've got a drone bay full of just regular combat drones, just light drones. Does have the bandwidth for 2 medium drones, actually, if you want to put them on rather than 4 lights. It depends on how you feel, what your individual fit is like. And there is a spare high slot on here. If you add the CPU, you could put on a tractor unit or something like that. Right, so I've landed in my belt, and I want to see what's worth mining. Now we've got this new little button here, this mining surveyor button, and that will exist on all mining ships going forward, including the Porpoise, the Walker, and the Vorkal. So any of those command ships, the mining ships themselves, the hulks, your mining barges, that sort of thing. All of those will have this, and that will give you a certain bunch of information when you click it. It acts as your survey scan. Let's click that. What it does is it scans every rock nearby, and it kind of colour codes them. And you can hover over them. I mean, you click on it, and it will say, right, that's Pyroxes, that's 26 kilometres away, 117 S per cubic metre, total value 2.1 million ISK, and there's approximately 62,000 units in that rock. This one here. Now, if you don't have this module fitted, this survey chipset, you won't get all of that information. You'll just get a distance. I think you get the value. If you're in a fleet, you don't need where the Orca or the fleet commander Porpoise or Vorkal has got a mining survey chip. If he's using mining command bursts, that information will get distributed to everyone in the fleet who's using it. Well, let's get a little bit closer to one of these. Get a prop mod on. Now you notice at the back of the ship here, got this little icon here, and that's your mining hold indicator. It means you don't have to have your mining hold open. You can have your cargo bay open or any other bay. Your mining hold, it shows you as a percentage. Now I'm going to target one of these rocks. Which one did I say I was heading for? Let's orbit this one. And let's lock it up. Now on this ship, now we have 3 mining lasers on these destroyers. 3 mining lasers with extended range. And notice that now mining lasers only have a 15-second cycle time rather than the usual 60-second that we've long been used to. Let's turn the prop mod off. Slow ourselves down a bit. In fact, I might even sit here for a bit. Now, you notice there's a little bar around the inside of our lock indicator. That bar is how much of the rock is left from when it was originally scanned. That's kind of how much is that depleted. Well, mining cycles are now quarter of the time, but quarter of the yield and quarter of the cap use, but it gives you more of an active feel. If you're looking at a much smaller rock, say for a mining mission or something like that, you don't have to sit there waiting for the full minute because it'll expire a lot quicker. If it's a very small mission rock that only has, I don't know, a couple of hundred units and you're mining 700 units a cycle, you don't need to wait for the full 60 seconds. It will now expire a lot quicker. You can move on to your next rock a lot quicker. That was a critical. That little blue burst there was a critical, and we did see that in the little log that ticked up. So we got a critical mining success, which means we got extra yield from that cycle without actually taking any extra out of the rock. And very quickly you can see there as well the mining hold is filling up. We're at 26% already. Doesn't take long. And that little inner white bar around here is dropping quite rapidly as we take ore out of the rock. Another quick thing to note, what I've added in is a nice little useful feature. When you land on a belt, you'll get a bunch of information pop up on the screen in a fairly clear way that gives you some information about the belt in general, where you are, what belt it is. If you look down here, Asteroid Belt 1, depletion status largely untouched, means no one's mined it yet. You might find in high sec, you might walk to a belt and find a different status, like it's been very heavily mined out or something like that. Little useful extra information that is going to be pertinent if you're a miner looking for some good stuff to mine, and lots of good stuff. Maybe you've got a build in mind, you need a lot of materials, you don't want to be warping to a belt that's basically empty, and if you can see that straight away when you land, you can move on to another belt and maybe find something a bit more, bit less depleted and a bit more useful for you. Here's a quick note about the consortium issue. Consortium issue Pioneer, consortium issue Venture, both get extra bonuses, and they're both very, very similar bonuses. They both get a shield booster amount boost, an extra mining critical hit chance, and a salvage drone bonus as well. So you're kind of encouraged to fit salvage drones rather than having to fit a salvager module. Also quite modular. The Pioneer Consortium issue, you can see it's got an entirely different front. The Venture model looks largely the same. The Venture Consortium issue model looks largely the same as the Consortium. It's kind of a reskin. But the Pioneer Consortium issue does look very different to the Pioneer. And then, of course, the other variation is the command ship version of the Outrider, which again keeps the back part of the ship fairly standard, but then has a complete rebuild of the front end. And the Outrider does have your standard command destroyer bonuses, micro jump field generator spool up, operation. It has mining bonuses. It gets shield resistance bonuses. It gets bonuses to command burst, that sort of thing. It's also a bit of a it gets bonuses to tractor beam range and velocity as roll bonuses. So your tractor beams can reach out a bit further. It's good if you're doing like jet can mining or something like that. Not quite as potent as the Porpoise in terms of it can't run compressors or anything like that, but it can pull everything into one place, and it does have quite a significant ore bay of 20,000 cubic meters. So that's enough for a small fleet of destroyers. The destroyer has 6,000 cubic meter mining hold. Pull all that in, jet can mine, and then you can move on with the micro jump field generator. Move on to another part of the belt, or if trouble comes along, you can get right off the belt and into a position where you can get away and warp off or do something else.